You ever stop and think, maybe evolution had a few drinks before it got to us? Like, it nailed birds, they fly, they sing, they look cool doing it. Sharks, perfect killing machines. Cats, absolute efficiency wrapped in fur. Then evolution got to humans and said, let's see what happens if I mix genius with self-doubt and throw in the ability to cry during commercials. We're this strange middle ground between divine brilliance and total idiocy. Walking proof that nature sometimes experiments without proofreading the instructions. We can build satellites that orbit planets millions of miles away, yet half of us can't figure out how to reconnect the Wi-Fi. It's insane. We call ourselves intelligent life, but we spend our days talking to glowing rectangles and yelling at them when they don't obey. No other species does that. A dog never screams at a stick because it didn't fetch itself. Birds don't panic over their reflection in a phone screen, but humans, we've turned stress into an art form. Somewhere along the evolutionary line, nature decided to upgrade us from animal to overthinker. The moment we got a brain capable of self-awareness, the universe basically handed us a curse wrapped in curiosity. We don't just live, we analyze living. We don't just eat, we wonder if we're emotionally eating. Think about how other animals exist. A lion wakes up, hunts, eats, sleeps, that's it. Simple, efficient. But humans wake up, check social media, compare their lives to strangers, have an existential crisis, and then maybe eat a salad they hate because an article said carbs are evil. Evolution gave us this massive brain, and we're using it to decide whether to buy avocado toast or save for retirement. That's the level of complexity we've reached. It's wild how we invented problems to feel alive. Like, there was a time when survival meant outrunning predators and finding food. Now, survival means finding a charger before your phone dies. Imagine telling a caveman, I'm so anxious, my battery's at 2%. He'd just stare at you like you're the weakest thing evolution ever produced, and honestly, he'd be right. We're the only creatures that created our own stress system. We stress about work that doesn't feed us, bills that don't even exist yet, and people we've never met but somehow dislike deeply because of one comment online. We evolved from creatures who could hunt and build fire to people who Google symptoms of mild headache and convince themselves they're dying. That's where we're at. Our brains are wired for pattern recognition and problem solving, but there aren't enough tigers left to run from, so now we fight imaginary ones in our heads. Evolution gave us the ability to plan, but it didn't include an off switch. That's why humans invented naps, wine, and Wi-Fi breaks, because our brains can't stop rehearsing disasters that haven't even happened. You can almost picture evolution sitting there, scratching its metaphorical chin, going, let's make a creature smart enough to understand the universe, but dumb enough to destroy its own planet. We learned how to control fire, then build cities that choke on the smoke. We discovered energy, then used it to power things that make us lazier. It's like we got the cheat codes to existence but forgot how to play the game. Every time we innovate, we also find a way to ruin it. Plastic was a great idea until we decided to put it in the ocean. Social media was meant to connect people. Now it's where empathy goes to die. And the funniest part is we know we're the problem, but we can't stop. No squirrel ever sits in a tree regretting its life choices. No raccoon thinks, maybe I should go vegan. But humans, we can't even enjoy ice cream without guilt. We've taken survival, something simple, primal, beautiful, and turned it into a constant competition with ourselves. We don't live in the present, we live in anxiety about the future and regret about the past. Evolution didn't give us a manual for this kind of overthinking, and now we're stuck trying to debug our own programming. What's worse is how we judge our flaws as if we're supposed to be perfect. We forget that we're just clever apes wearing pants, pretending we've got it all figured out. Every generation thinks it's the most advanced one until the next one shows up and laughs at how stupid we were. The irony is that progress always reveals how primitive we still are. We send rovers to Mars, but we can't agree on how to treat each other here. We invented language so we could connect, then used it to argue endlessly. We invented religion to find meaning, then used it to divide. We evolved thumbs so we could grasp tools, and now we use them to swipe through other people's lives. Evolution must look at us and think, I tried to give you a gift, not a meltdown. We have these brains capable of creating art, love, and beauty, yet half the time we use them to calculate how much sleep we'll get if we go to bed right now. And then we don't even go to bed, we just keep scrolling. The brain that painted the Sistine Chapel is now stuck in a loop of dopamine hits from cat videos. That's the real joke. We turn the miracle of consciousness into a feedback loop of distraction. And yet, there's something painfully funny about how predictable we are. We think we're complex, but we're just simple needs wrapped in complicated excuses. We want to be loved, but we push people away. We want peace, but we chase chaos because it feels more exciting. We want meaning, but we drown it in entertainment. Evolution built us to adapt, but we keep adapting to nonsense. We evolve faster technologically than emotionally, and the result is this bizarre species that can edit genes but can't have a calm dinner without checking notifications. Sometimes I imagine the first human who realized they were self-aware. Like, they looked at their reflection in the water and went, wait, that's me. And immediately, evolution created anxiety. That's the moment everything went sideways. Because once you know you exist, you start worrying about how you exist, why you exist, and what everyone else thinks about your existence. It's too much power for a creature that still trips over flat surfaces. That's why our pets seem happier they exist in the moment. They're doing evolution the right way. They eat, sleep, play, repeat. We, on the other hand, eat, feel guilty, sleep poorly, play less, and repeat that dysfunction with pride. Even our intelligence betrays us. We use logic to justify nonsense. We call greed ambition. We call chaos freedom. We chase happiness as if it's a possession, not a state of being. And in the middle of all that, we forget that maybe the whole point of evolution wasn't perfection, it was awareness. Maybe evolution didn't make a mistake, maybe just handed us too much responsibility and we turned it into confusion. We like to think we're the smartest species, but maybe intelligence isn't measured by how much we know. Maybe it's how peacefully we live with what we know. Because if intelligence leads to misery, then maybe evolution's real winners are the ones who never needed to overthink. Maybe the birds got it right. Maybe the trees got it right. They just exist, fulfilling their role in silence. Meanwhile, humans are sitting in traffic, screaming at time for moving too slowly. We think progress means moving faster, but half the time we're running in circles, exhausted by our own upgrades. It's strange, isn't it? We're the only animals aware that we're going to die, and instead of using that as motivation to live fully, we use it to panic daily. We turn mortality into a marketing tool. Every commercial basically says, you're going to die, so buy this. Evolution gave us consciousness, and capitalism gave it a subscription fee. But even in that chaos, there's this undeniable spark, this ability to laugh at the absurdity of it all. Maybe that's what saves us. The fact that we can look at our dysfunction and still find humor in it. That's probably the most human thing of all, to mess everything up and then make a joke about it. Because if evolution really did take a wrong turn, at least we're aware enough to laugh on the way down. And maybe that's the only thing that keeps us evolving at all. Not the inventions or the theories or the endless search for meaning, but the simple, stupid, beautiful ability to look at our own chaos and still say, yeah, this is us. This ridiculous, overcomplicated mess, this is what it means to be human. You know, evolution really thought it was doing something when it gave us big brains and opposable thumbs. It must have thought, these humans are going to conquer the world. And we did, but not in the way evolution probably imagined. We didn't become stronger or faster or wiser. We became comfortable. Too comfortable. We turned survival into convenience and convenience into dependency. We don't run from predators anymore. We complain when the food delivery takes 10 minutes longer than expected. We're supposed to be the product of millions of years of adaptation, yet one wrong temperature in the shower, and we act like it's the apocalypse. Somewhere along the way, comfort killed our instincts. Our ancestors had real problems. You woke up back then and thought, I hope I don't die today. That was the goal. Stay alive, maybe find food, don't get eaten. Simple, brutal, and honest. Now we wake up and our biggest fear is a low battery or an unread email. We've replaced danger with discomfort. We used to fight to survive. Now we fight with customer support. We used to hunt food. Now we scroll through menus because we can't decide what we're in the mood for. That's not evolution. That's de-evolution in sweatpants. We built a world so easy that it's slowly making us weaker. Not physically, though. Yeah, we could talk about that too, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. We've built lives padded with comfort, so we forget what struggle even feels like. We panic if the air conditioning breaks for a day. We lose our minds if the Wi-Fi drops for 5 minutes. Imagine explaining that to a caveman. Yeah, so I couldn't stream my show and it ruined my night. That man used to fight wolves with a stick. You'd sound like a joke. Comfort's funny because it was supposed to make us happy, but all it did was make us anxious about losing it. We're not satisfied, we're addicted. The more convenience we have, the more fragile we become. We've built this bubble around ourselves, and we call it civilization. But the truth is, it's just a very complicated blanket fort designed to keep us from feeling anything unpleasant. We've removed every natural challenge from life, and then we wonder why we feel empty. We have machines to move us, clean for us, cook for us, even think for us. Evolution gave us legs, and we gave them wheels. We have gadgets for everything, and yet we're miserable. Because deep down, our brains are wired for effort, for purpose, for doing something that matters. But we replaced all that with comfort, and now the machine that was built to solve problems has nothing real to solve. So it creates problems, imaginary ones, emotional ones, ones that keep us restless, even when we're safe. You can't fool biology. We evolved to chase, to build, to fight, to feel the satisfaction of earning survival. You take that away, and the system goes haywire. That's why people get depressed even when their lives look perfect on paper. You can have a house, a job, money, a car, and still feel like something's missing because something is missing. The struggle, the purpose, the primal part of us that needs to overcome, not just consume. We've gotten so soft that minor inconveniences now feel like tragedy. Your coffee order's wrong, that's your war. Your flight's delayed, that's your hardship. We throw tantrums over traffic, scream into the void when the internet lags. You realize how spoiled we are when a simple delay can ruin our entire mood. We're emotionally allergic to discomfort. And that's dangerous because life is discomfort. Growth only happens through friction, but we built a world designed to eliminate it, and in doing so, we eliminated a part of ourselves. You see it everywhere. We chase comfort even when it hurts us. Fast food, fast entertainment, fast validation. We've turned instant gratification into a lifestyle. Everything's about speed, not depth. We don't want to earn satisfaction, we want to order it. We don't want to learn patience, we want to download it, and it's making us hollow. The human spirit wasn't designed for autopilot, but that's where we live now. We're constantly chasing easy dopamine hits, a like, a notification, a small dose of "you're enough" from strangers who don't even know us. We've replaced struggle with simulation. We play games about survival because we've forgotten how it feels. We watch shows about people fighting for their lives while sitting in bed surrounded by snacks. It's like we know something inside us is missing, but we don't know how to get it back, so we watch pretend versions of it instead. Comfort numbed us, and now we crave the sensation of feeling something real, even if it's through a screen. There's this irony in how evolution worked. The whole point was adaptation, survival of the fittest. But now, the fittest are the ones who can survive comfort. The strongest people today aren't the ones who can hunt or build or endure pain. They're the ones who can sit still without needing distraction. That's become the new endurance test: silence, boredom, patience. Try sitting alone without your phone for 10 minutes. It's torture for most people. We've evolved into creatures who can't even be alone with their own thoughts. Our ancestors didn't have that luxury. They faced the world directly, no filters, no distractions, just reality. Harsh, unpredictable, raw reality. And that reality shaped them. It gave them resilience, wisdom, humility. We, on the other hand, avoid reality at all costs. We curate our lives, filter our faces, edit our emotions, and call it progress. But you can't evolve past struggle. You can only delay it. Because the universe always finds a way to test you, whether it's through nature or through your own mind. Comfort has also distorted our sense of gratitude. When everything's easy, nothing feels special. We take everything for granted because we didn't earn any of it. You don't appreciate warmth until you've been cold. You don't appreciate food until you've been hungry. But we live in a world where everything's one click away, and we wonder why happiness feels so far. We've created abundance, but lost appreciation. We have too much to be grateful for, and yet not enough to feel grateful. And you can see it in our bodies too. We used to be machines of endurance. Now, sitting for too long hurts us. We drive to the gym just to walk on a treadmill, a machine that lets us pretend we're still connected to movement. That's how far removed we are from our nature. We simulate effort because real effort scares us. We want the benefits of growth without the discomfort of change. But here's the truth, comfort doesn't care about you. It seduces you, then dulls you. It whispers, you deserve this, until you forget what you're capable of. It's like a slow poison, pleasant at first, deadly over time. You stop pushing limits, stop questioning, stop evolving. You become soft, not just in body, but in mind. And the mind, when left unstressed, starts to eat itself. That's why we have this rise in anxiety, depression, burnout, all symptoms of a species that forgot how to struggle properly. We're drowning in ease. Yet, buried underneath all that softness, there's still a spark. It's why people climb mountains, run marathons, take cold showers, meditate, push themselves, not because they need to, but because some part of them misses the feeling of being alive, real life, not comfortable life. There's something sacred about effort, something primal about pain. It reminds us that we're built for more than convenience, that we were made to endure, not escape. Maybe comfort was never the goal. Maybe it was just supposed to be the reward after the work, not the lifestyle itself. Because comfort without purpose rots the spirit. It tricks us into thinking we're safe when we're actually stagnant. It's the difference between living and waiting. And a lot of people today are just waiting for something to happen, for something to change, for meaning to appear out of nowhere. But meaning doesn't come from sitting still. It comes from motion, from effort, from doing the hard thing, even when you don't have to. We evolved from creatures who had no choice but to fight for their lives. Now we have every choice, and we use it to avoid fighting for anything. That's the irony, we're free, but we use our freedom to escape challenge. We traded struggle for comfort, and in the process, we lost connection with nature, with purpose, with ourselves. Evolution gave us tools to survive the wild, and we used them to build cages made of convenience. But maybe the answer isn't to reject comfort, maybe it's to balance it. To remember that too much safety can be just as dangerous as too much risk. That a little discomfort is good for the soul. That growth requires friction. That peace isn't found in the absence of struggle, but in mastering it. Maybe that's the next step of evolution, not technology, not biology, but awareness. The ability to choose struggle when life no longer demands it. Because if comfort killed the instincts that made us human, then discomfort might just bring them back. Technology was supposed to be our greatest achievement, the crown jewel of human evolution. It was meant to make life easier, connect us, elevate us beyond survival. But somewhere between inventing fire and creating smartphones that can recognize our faces but not our emotions, something went sideways. We built tools to help us, and now we serve them. We used to control our inventions, and now they control our attention. It's like we built this beautiful machine called progress, but we forgot to read the manual before turning it on. There's something strange about the fact that we've made devices smarter than us in some ways, yet we keep getting dumber around them. We've outsourced our memory, our focus, our patience, our empathy, all the things that made us human in the first place. We carry a piece of glass in our pockets that contains more information than all the libraries our ancestors ever built, and we use it mostly to argue, scroll, and check if someone liked our breakfast photo. Evolution probably didn't see that coming. The brain that once invented the wheel now needs an app to remind it to drink water. It's funny, but also sad. Technology didn't just change how we live, it changed what we value. We don't even need to think anymore. The answers are always there, a few clicks away. But having access to everything made us understand nothing. We mistake information for wisdom, connection for intimacy, reaction for thought. We've got more data than ever, but less depth. It's like evolution handed us the power of gods and the attention span of a goldfish. We made machines to make us efficient, but all they did was make us impatient. We used to wait days for letters. Now we get angry if someone doesn't reply in 5 minutes. Waiting feels like pain now. We can't even stand buffering anymore. We've become allergic to stillness because we've been trained to expect instant everything. And the irony is, the faster things get, the emptier they feel. We're chasing speed in a world that's losing meaning. We built these amazing tools to connect humanity, but most days, it feels like they've only made us lonelier. We can talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime, yet we rarely talk. We type, we post, we perform. The internet is full of noise, but so little of it feels real. We become spectators of our own lives, documenting everything so we don't have to feel it. Our moments don't even belong to us anymore. They belong to the cloud. We're living through our screens like tourists in our own existence. There was a time when technology helped us express ourselves. Now, it defines us. People don't ask, "Who are you?" anymore. They ask, "What's your handle?" Or, "How many followers do you have?" We measure worth in likes, attention in emojis, and identity in algorithms. We become products of the systems we created. Machines don't evolve to serve us anymore. They evolve to study us, to predict us, to sell us things we don't need. We built them to understand the world, and now they understand us better than we do. What's crazy is that we invited this. We gave away our privacy one convenience at a time. We said yes to everything that made life easier, the smart homes, smart cars, smart assistants, and never stopped to ask, what happens when the tech gets smarter than the people using it? Because that's where we're heading. We've got AI writing poems, diagnosing diseases, making music, even pretending to care about our emotions. We're blurring the line between human and machine faster than we can understand it. And the weirdest part, we're impressed by it, we cheer for it, we worship it, because deep down, we're fascinated by anything that feels like us, only better. But that's the problem. Technology doesn't feel. It mimics feeling. It doesn't understand us. It simulates understanding. And we're falling for it because we've forgotten how to connect deeply with each other. We've become so used to digital comfort that real emotions now feel awkward. We'd rather text "I love you" than say it out loud. We'd rather watch someone live than live ourselves. We don't look at each other anymore. We look at reflections of each other through screens. We've turned our evolution into automation. Every part of life now has an app, a shortcut, a digital fix. We're optimizing ourselves into oblivion. Sleep apps to tell us when to rest, meditation apps to remind us to breathe, fitness trackers to count our steps, because apparently we can't. Trust our legs to remember how to walk. It's insane. We've replaced intuition with instruction. We've built a world so advanced that we can't function without it, and somehow we call that progress. What's even more ironic is how dependent we've become on the very thing that's eroding our attention. We complain about having no time, no focus, no peace, while holding the device responsible for all three in our hands. It's like complaining about being hungry while eating junk food nonstop. We're feeding our minds with constant stimulation and wondering why we're exhausted. Our brains never rest anymore. They're constantly buzzing, scrolling, reacting. We've replaced quiet with chaos, curiosity with consumption. The thing is, technology isn't evil. It's neutral. It's a mirror that reflects us back to ourselves. The problem isn't the invention, it's the intention. We didn't build machines to serve wisdom. We built them to serve comfort. And comfort, as we already know, makes us weaker. We used to use tools to shape the world. Now we use them to escape it. We hide in screens because reality feels too raw. We scroll through lives because facing our own feels too heavy. You ever notice how silence feels uncomfortable now? Like we need background noise just to exist. That's not normal. Our ancestors sat by fires and listened to nothing but the wind, and somehow they were more connected than we are with all our notifications. We've confused noise with presence. We think being online means being alive. But the truth is, the more we connect digitally, the more disconnected we become from the physical, from the tangible, from each other. We've created this paradox where we're more informed but less aware. We know what's happening across the planet, but we don't know what's happening inside our own minds. We've seen every disaster, every tragedy, every scandal, all from the safety of our screens, and it's numbed us. We don't feel the weight of the world, we scroll past it. Compassion used to be an action, now it's a reaction, a like, a comment, a quick thoughts and prayers before moving on to the next thing. Maybe evolution didn't fail. Maybe it just underestimated us. It thought, let's give them intelligence, and we turned it into obsession. It gave us curiosity, and we used it to create algorithms that tell us what we already like. It gave us imagination, and we used it to build virtual worlds so we could ignore the real one. We've outsmarted ourselves. We've reached a point where progress feels like regression wearing a high-tech disguise. And it's not that technology is bad, it's that we've forgotten how to use it consciously. We treat it like a god when it was only meant to be a tool. It's supposed to amplify our humanity, not replace it. but we got lazy. We let it think for us, choose for us, even feel for us. We stopped asking questions. We just swipe, tap, consume, repeat. And the machine learns from that, getting smarter every second while we get more predictable. Maybe this is the new form of evolution, not survival of the fittest, but survival of the most distracted. The ones who can handle the noise without losing themselves. The ones who can use the machine without becoming one, because that's the real test now. Not whether we can build smarter tools, but whether we can stay human while using them. And the funny thing is, even with all this power, all this progress, all this digital magic at our fingertips, we still feel lost, more connected than ever, yet lonelier than ever. We can talk to anyone, but we struggle to talk to ourselves. We can access the universe, but we can't sit still for a minute. That's the paradox of modern evolution. We advance so far that we loop back to emptiness. Maybe evolution didn't take a wrong turn. Maybe it just left us with a choice: become masters of our creations or servants to them. And right now, it feels like we're standing in the middle, half human, half machine, trying to remember what it meant to just exist without needing to prove it. Because at the end of the day, the machines we built don't dream, don't laugh, don't cry, don't love. They simulate life, but they don't live it. Only we can do that. And if we forget how, then maybe evolution really did take a wrong turn, and it's our job to turn it back. You know, for all the mistakes evolution seems to have made with us, all the glitches, the overthinking, the chaos, the endless need to mess things up just to feel alive, maybe that's exactly the point. Maybe it wasn't a mistake at all. Maybe the universe, in its infinite weirdness, decided to roll the dice and see what would happen if it gave one species the ability to feel everything all at once: love, pain, fear, joy, guilt, confusion, and then watch what they do with it. Maybe we weren't supposed to be perfect. Maybe we were just supposed to try. Because think about it, for every stupid thing humans do, there's something astonishingly beautiful right behind it. We destroy, but we also rebuild. We hurt, but we also heal. We make a mess of life, and then we create art out of the wreckage. That's something no other species does. No dolphin ever painted a masterpiece to process its trauma. No bear ever wrote poetry because it missed another bear. Only we do that. Only humans take pain and turn it into meaning. We're the only creatures who can look at the chaos we caused and still say, yeah, but there's something kind of beautiful in it. It's strange how we can be so broken and still so hopeful. We live in this constant tug of war between wanting to be better and wanting to give up, and somehow we keep choosing to keep going. We fall apart, cry, laugh, love again, make the same mistakes, and still believe tomorrow will be different. That's not logic. That's not science. That's the stubborn human spirit, the one part of evolution that can't be measured or replicated. It's the part that keeps us from collapsing under the weight of our own madness. Maybe the so-called wrong turn was actually the most human thing evolution ever did, giving us imperfection, because without it, there'd be no growth. Perfection doesn't evolve, it just exists. But imperfection, that's movement, that's progress. It's the friction that shapes us. We're constantly learning through trial and error, mostly error, but that's where all the beauty comes from. The mess is where the magic happens. Look at how we react to struggle. Most animals just endure. We transform it. We make movies about it. We write songs about heartbreak that become the soundtrack of someone else's healing. We turn sadness into stories, fear into courage, loss into purpose. That's the real miracle, not that we evolved thumbs or built cities, but that we found ways to make the unbearable bearable through connection, through creativity, through humor. Evolution didn't just give us the ability to survive, it gave us the ability to make survival worth it. And honestly, maybe that's what it means to be human, to constantly screw things up and still find a way to love the world anyway. To wake up every morning knowing things are broken, but believing you can make them a little less so. To laugh when it hurts, to care when it's inconvenient, to hope when it makes no sense. That's not a flaw, that's defiance. It's the universe daring us to find meaning in a system that was never designed to make sense. It's easy to look around and think humanity's lost. We see greed, violence, ignorance, all the evidence that maybe evolution got drunk halfway through designing us. But then you see a stranger help someone for no reason. You hear music that makes you cry. You watch someone forgive something unforgivable. And in that moment, you realize this species, for all its chaos, is capable of breathtaking kindness. We just forget sometimes. We get so tangled in our flaws that we stop seeing our brilliance, but it's there. It's always been there. We're the only species aware that we're temporary, and instead of accepting that quietly, we rebel against it. We build, create, fall in love, have kids, chase dreams, all in defiance of the fact that we're going to die someday. We make meaning out of mortality. That's insane and beautiful at the same time. It's like evolution said, you're going to fade one day. And we said, fine, but I'll leave something behind. That's the real essence of being human, knowing it all ends and doing it anyway. We make fun of ourselves for being emotional wrecks, for being sensitive, for caring too much. But that sensitivity is proof of something divine buried in the mess. We're wired to feel deeply because that's how we connect. Every heartbreak, every mistake, every time we fail and try again, it's evolution in motion. The point was never to be flawless, it was to be alive. To experience everything, even the ugly parts, and still find a reason to laugh. And maybe that's where the hope lies in our contradictions. We're greedy, but generous. We're selfish, but capable of sacrifice. We're destructive, but endlessly creative. We're hypocritical, yet somehow we still believe in good. Every generation looks at the next and says, we're doomed, and yet we never are. Because somehow we adapt again, not just physically, but emotionally. We learn empathy from suffering, patience from failure, wisdom from pain. That's evolution's hidden masterpiece. It didn't just shape our bodies, it shaped our hearts. We've built machines that think, but they can't feel. They can process data, but they'll never understand love or regret or joy. That's what makes us human, the mess of emotion that drives us to create beauty from disaster. We're not perfect systems, we're passionate accidents, but maybe that's why we matter. Because in all our confusion, we still reach for something higher. We still try to be kind. We still fall in love knowing it could destroy us. That's courage. That's what no other species dares to do. If you look closely, everything we call progress started from pain. Every revolution, every discovery, every act of compassion, all born from someone saying, this can be better. That's the engine of humanity. Not comfort, not perfection, just the relentless urge to grow beyond ourselves. It's messy, it's exhausting, but it's also magnificent. Because it means that no matter how many times we fall, there's always a spark left that says, try again. Maybe evolution didn't take a wrong turn. Maybe it just gave us the hardest test, the ability to question everything, including ourselves. And in that questioning, we find meaning. We argue, we doubt, we disagree, but that's how we grow. It's chaos with purpose. It's the universe learning about itself through us. Every thought, every emotion, every mistake, it's evolution unfolding in real time. And yeah, we've messed up plenty. We've hurt the planet, each other, ourselves. But we also learn, apologize, rebuild, evolve. Slowly, painfully, imperfectly, but forward nonetheless. That's the quiet miracle we keep missing. We always find a way. No matter how lost we get, there's always someone reaching out, something worth fighting for, some small act of grace that reminds us we're not done yet. Because underneath the noise, the greed, the confusion, there's still a heartbeat that refuses to quit. It's what makes us write love letters, build art from grief, sing songs about hope we barely believe in. It's what makes us forgive, even when we shouldn't. It's what makes us laugh, even when we're breaking. That's not weakness. That's evolution's greatest trick, the ability to keep loving life even when it doesn't make sense. Maybe we are the universe's experiment gone slightly wrong, but maybe that wrong is exactly what makes us right. Maybe we were never meant to be smooth, efficient, logical creatures. Maybe we were meant to stumble, to wonder, to search endlessly for meaning in the madness. Because in that searching, we become something more than biology. We become stories. We become memory. We become the proof that imperfection can still create something extraordinary. And maybe that's the real lesson, that evolution didn't fail. It gave us the one thing no other species has, the ability to look at our flaws, laugh at them, learn from them, and still believe we're capable of more. The world doesn't need perfect people. It needs aware ones. People who see the mess and choose kindness anyway. People who know they're flawed but keep showing up. People who understand that maybe the whole point of being human isn't to fix evolution's mistake, it's to make something beautiful out of it. Because in the end, maybe the universe didn't design us to be perfect. Maybe it designed us to be aware enough to see the absurdity, the pain, the beauty, and still choose to live through it all with a little bit of grace, a little bit of humor, and a lot of heart.